that an atheist thinks that God doesn't exist. Now, an agnostic is not sure whether God exists or not. And that's what I think is the most logical perception of the world. Because seeing that our senses are flawed, and all knowledge that we have comes through our senses, then it means every conclusion we make is inherently flawed. Because the way for ourselves, the way for us to perceive those conclusions, that information, is flawed. You know what I mean? That's why I doubt the existence of God, even though God might exist. It might exist in a way different than what we perceive. What I don't think is very logical is to believe in an absolute entity that forces humans to obey his or her absolute justice. And I have this question, I made this question to many religious people. I'd like to make it to you. What does God love more, his justice or humans?
That's very logical.
The presumption here is being made that there is a creator.
I'm not making that presumption.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh wait, fair enough. If we want to entertain the You're right.
You have to start with the
God
presumption.
exists, exactly. Let's assume that God exists. Yeah. Let's assume your God exists.
If we were to assume, I don't usually say my God, your God. They can only logically be one creator.
Sure.
So, if I were to take that view, then logic would dictate to me that by definition, and if we look at all cultures, whether the view according to you is inherently flawed, right across the cultures there is the idea of a creator who is supremely powerful, who by definition, who created everything. And if that be the case, then logic would dictate that it is what the creator says to us which would be necessarily the view that we should hold about the creator. So if you were to ask, does God love justice more than he loves humans? Well,
God love more,
which one would God love more? Well, the first question I would ask is, why the distinction being made? Unless the creator has provided us with that distinction, it would not make sense to me.
It's because with the assumption we're making, with the assumption to entertain the idea of a God, which we are entertaining right now. We kind of, I'm imagining that I'm believing in God right now. God, at least the God of Muslims and Christians, the monotheistic God, is justice. God dictates justice, and that's the only justice that is real, that is, just. And God, supposedly, at least according to your religion and to the Christians, God loves humans. God has a lot of love for humans. And yet, every time humans go against God's justice, every time humans transgress on God's rules, on God's justice, he punishes humans with no mercy, absolutely no exception, unless eventually they decide to submit to his justice. If they do, he forgives them, blah blah blah, and they go to heaven. Now my question to you is, if God always chooses his justice over humans, does God love humans at all?
Okay. I would suggest that your reasoning is flawed, and I'll tell you why. You see, for you to assume that the creator punishes all the time, you know the mind of the creator. Do you?
Well, you're the one who believes in
No. I'm going according to your reasoning.
Your
reasoning, Pavlov.
Okay. Right now I'm a Muslim. If we are going to have
no, I'm not going to play a game. If we are going to have a conversation, it should be a two-way street, Pavlov. Now, I'm going according to your reasoning, and I suggested to you it was flawed, and I just told you how. Now, what I'm saying to you, Pavlov, is this. Look, I have no problem with the way you are thinking, but that thinking is flawed in that unless and until you can confidently assert to me that you actually know exactly the mind of the creator who we are assuming to be existing, then only can you actually address the view that you are holding, which you cannot.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
You're right. Even if I believe in God, I can't assert exactly what God
You cannot,
thinks,
exactly. Now, unless and until the creator, I can't. And now I was about to say, unless, not at all.
We can't be sure of religion.
If I was just going to finish. Unless and until the creator tells us what the creator is and how the creator views the creation that the creator created.
But
no
did
problem.
he tell you that?
My standing is yes.
Yes. So you know what the creator thinks and what he
No.
wants.
What the creator thinks, I didn't say. I said the creator has told us what our position is viz. The Creator. Are we a created entity? Yes, we are, according to the reasoning. If we are a created entity, then it behoves the created entity to try and find out what the Creator wants for this particular created created entity.
It's a tank.
It's a tank, yeah. The created entity. Okay. Now, logic would dictate, if we were to take this reasoning forward, logic would dictate that unless and until you establish exactly what the Creator's message is to the human beings, all the questions that we are asking somehow become just for the purposes of a game, as you rightly said. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't view it that way.
That's very well said. That's exactly one of the reasons why I
yeah.
follow.
The way I would view it is that, look, unless and until you have understood exactly what the Creator says, and this you can't take from another human being. It has to be for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, it has to be for yourself. Now, unless and until you have established that, any question in relation to what the Creator thinks, says, with a view to humanity is going to be pure speculation.
And even by yourself, if you interact with God in a certain way by yourself, your interaction still goes through your senses. And thus it's still not a perfect interaction.
Sorry, say that again?
Even if you interact with God yourself,
yeah.
your interaction still goes through your own senses, which are flawed, which means you will not realize God for what exactly He is,
okay.
for what He truly is. Plus, let me just address something else. You're completely right. If I believe in a God, I can't assert for sure what God wants, what He believes in. But do you agree that people go to hell if they disobey God's justice?
Right, excellent. You have said this the third time. You have used disobeyed God's justice. What is the definition of justice according to the Creator?
What's written in the Quran?
What would that be?
The laws by which you abide, by laws by which you live.
Laws have nothing to do with justice.
Of course they do. Justice is composed by laws.
No, if I can just. You see, if somebody has gone through red lights, yeah, the law finds him guilty. Do we agree? You see, Mansur?
That's justice, yeah.
No, now.
That's the system of justice we have.
Now, that is the legal system.
So?
Justice is applied by the judge. If I go through red lights, okay, I've broken the law. If I go into the magistrate's court and I provide sufficient reason which... Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh, how are you? Are you okay? Are you alright? Yeah, I do apologize, Pavlov. Yeah. If I go to the magistrates and the magistrates apply justice and I give them sufficient cogent reasons for why I went through, they would let me off. Is that justice?
As far as I know, the term justice system and the term legal system are synonyms. So we're playing games of semantics with words that mean exactly the same.
Pavlov, you sound... I do apologize. Are you going?
Yeah.
Okay, look after yourself.
See you in 3 weeks, inshallah.
Okay, definitely, inshallah. Look after yourself, and you too. Yeah. Okay.
Pause for a second.
Yeah, sorry.
I've seen you, we haven't met. Have you read this book?
Secret History of the World, Jonathan Black. Ooh, Illuminati I like. No, I haven't.
Read this book, it will transform your life.
Yeah.
Who told you I want my life to be transformed?
Well, we are all endeavoring to better our life, aren't we?
Of course.
Go forward in life, this will make a gift to you.
Oh, Jazak Allah, thank you so much.
I talked about Jesus, why the church's sodomy is prevalent.
Yeah.
This book explains why.
Is it?
If it's good for the Lord, it's good for me, the pastor.
I see, I understand. Yeah,
This
sure.
guy did a 20-year
Yeah.
research
Yeah, we can.
before any ink touched the paper. It's a wonderful
Really?
book.
Is it? Thank you so much.
And in 387 he says, indeed the whole world, let alone Europe, changed thanks to Islam only. If not for Islam, there would be no Renaissance in Europe.
No what?
Renaissance.
Renaissance.
You know, there are many theories about why the Renaissance happened. The main theory,
20 year research.
the main theory is that after the conquest of Constantinople by the Ottomans, many of the scholars of Constantinople, which was the greatest city on earth on that moment, fled to Italy. And those scholars, those artists, those people, they kick-started the Renaissance because there was a huge influx of brain power to northern Italy, and thus it was, you know, it began.
Only 2 years ago, Thomas Friedman, New York Times editor, he said, if Muslims were in Europe in the 30s and 40s, there would be 6 million Jews living in Europe today.
Yeah, I can see the logic there.
Stretch.
I can see
It's
the
a very
logic
big
there.
stretch. You might change a little part of history, and it changes everything drastically. You can't possibly predict that.
Have you got any reason to be proud about the Nordic civilization?
Of course.
The Roman civilization? This is, of course,
I have every reason to be proud of the Romans.
blood, smelling blood.
Everyone smells of blood.
Not
Everyone.
the Muslims.
Especially the Muslims. They conquered 2/3 of the Christian world in a record time. They were conquering like crazy, really fast.
Prophecy.
Prophecy. Oh, I like that. Every single empire likes to give an excuse for their
Prophecy.
conquests.
Prophecy.
You know, the reason why I
You know,
don't.
the Muslims, you know, the Greeks, the Romans, the Persians used to pass through them thinking these Arabs were a bunch of dirt, vermin. No one gave them the second look until Islam changed them.
Yeah, because
and
they
no
conquered
one gave a second look at the Muslims. The Muslims conquered all the way from Persia to southern France.
Okay.
Why? The prophecy.
Okay. So the Mongols also had a prophecy of their own because they conquered the biggest land empire in existence.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, it was
Not a
quite
problem.
derailed the conversation, but
It's okay. Well, I know where we were when we stopped. Yeah.
kind of,
right.
yeah, I kind
Basically,
of lost track where
no,
we
don't worry.
stopped.
I will tell you.
Go
The
ahead,
last
go
thing you said was justice and the legal system are used synonymously.
Yes.
Yeah. I said no. It doesn't work like that.
what's the difference?
Yeah. Like I was just telling you. I just gave you an example, and I want you to follow that through. The example was that I went through red lights. It's illegal. I was then taken to court. The judge now applies justice. I give him very cogent reasons for why I had to go through the red lights. And he applied the law.
the legal system.
He
the legal system.
If I can just,
It's the law.
if he applied the law says that if you go through, X is the punishment. He looked at the reasons, we call them mitigating reasons. He found that I had sufficient cause to have gone through, yeah, although I broke the law. The judge announced an absolute discharge. Is that justice?
Justice is very open to interpretation
Why?
because every country has their own legal system, has their own, their own way of living. You know what I mean?
That's not the issue, though. The issue that you are addressing and I'm addressing is this.
I assume you
Did
want to
he
make the
apply?
distinction,
Did he
like,
apply? No, Pavlov. Did he apply justice?
No, wait. I assume you want to make a distinction, like the judicial.
No, I'm not assuming. I'm asking you,
the
Pavlov,
judicial-
respectfully.
the
Let's answer the
judicial,
question and then
the
proceed.
Executive and the.
No, you seem to be reading of a script here, Pavlov.
Yeah,
I'm not asking you that.
Listen.
No, just answer my
you
question,
seem to be
Pavlov.
reading from a script.
Respectfully, I'm asking you, Pavlov, a simple question. Did
What's the
the
question?
judge apply justice?
In which situation? Would you
The
repeat
one that I
situation?
just gave you.
Repeat the situation.
Can't you remember? I did it twice,
Repeat the
Pavlov.
situation.
Twice I repeated it.
Repeat the situation.
You can't remember.
You don't want to repeat the situation.
No, I can, but it seems like you're not listening.
Do you want to repeat the situation or not? Or do you want to focus on whether I have been listening or not?
No, you haven't been. Because if you did,
Because
twice.
we're playing games of semantics.
No, you are playing that respectfully, Pavlov. I gave you an actual
Okay, you might
example.
say respectfully as many times as you want. If you don't act respectfully, it doesn't sound like your words have any meaning.
I agree, but that's what I'm asking you to do.
Asking me to do what?
I've asked you 3 times the same question.
No,
I gave you the same example twice.
No, it's twice.
And you can't remember the example I gave.
Fair enough, fair enough.
So are you going to answer the question?
What was the original conversation again? Yes, we were talking.
You can't
you were
remember.
trying to answer the question of what does God love more, His justice or humans? And you've derailed it to what is justice. No, that's a good topic. Not
at all, Pavlov. I actually said to you, your reasoning is flawed. And then we moved on. But having said that, Pavlov, respectfully, and I say this, and I mean it, I gave you a real life example. You didn't seem aware of it, but
reasoning is flawed.
I told it.
I don't know
no,
exactly,
you are going back. If you can remember that, how come you can't remember the example?
Because I don't know exactly what God wants us to do.
Right, excellent. Pavlov.
Now you're in the same boat. You don't know what God wants us to do.
And you are entitled to that opinion.
You criticize me on not knowing it.
No, you are entitled to that opinion. But in
I'm
terms,
entitled to it, and you're entitled
Pavlov.
to answer it.
In terms of criticism, in terms of criticism, there isn't a need because the flow, the thread, you missed it. I will repeat it again. I will repeat it again, Pavlov. Yeah, I gave you an example about justice. Okay,
we go back to another thread.
Not at all. It's the same thread. Unfortunately, it went against your reasoning, and I can see that. But I will repeat it anyway for your benefit. Going through red lights, it's against the law. I am brought before the magistrates. I provide the necessary reasons for why I went through.
Which are?
The judge now is going to apply justice. He heard my reasons for why I went through in mitigation, it's called. After having heard it, he acknowledges I went through the red light, but his judgment was an absolute discharge.
Absolute discharge.
Do you know what that means?
Guilty.
But did he apply justice?
He did.
How?
Because according to the judicial system, according to justice, to the system, to the laws of the country, I, who went against the lights, was judged not guilty. Whether because the lights messed up, whether because I was distracted by another, for any reason. It is justice.
Was justice applied?
It was.
How?
Because he decided I'm not guilty.
He broke the law.
It's not only punishment.
Excellent. Now, take that reasoning forward. Who created? We are assuming there's a creator here.
Sure.
The creator created human beings who have developed justice systems in which it is clear that even in applying justice they are being merciful. Who gave us that ability?
Well, if we believe in God, then yeah, God.
The creator did. The supreme creator who has given us this ability to be able to apply mercy despite the rules going against us, how would that absolute entity apply justice?
By punishing us, of course.
Can that same
if we transgress his rules.
Can that absolute justice also apply mercy?
Well, yeah, if we submit ourselves to his rules.
Sorry?
If we submit to
again, his rules. Have you noticed, Pavlov? You are answering the question with a precondition. When there isn't a need for a precondition, why are you doing that?
What do you mean?
You aren't seeing it, are you? You are not seeing it. Okay, I will tell you.
I'm not seeing where you're going with this.
No, not where I'm going. It's where you thought you were going, but you can't. Anyway, what I'm saying basically, Pavlov, you are always there's a precondition you are applying when you are answering the question. When I say mercy, you said, well, unless it is this, then it can be applied. I'm saying, no, there isn't a need. When you are dealing with an absolute entity, these ideas of ifs, buts do not apply. Because you are dealing with an absolute entity. Unless you understand what that absolute entity is, you are still going to be confused.
But we don't.
And respectfully, that's what is happening here.
Do you understand?
So, if you heard
if you don't, then who are you to criticize me on not understanding?
I'm not criticizing you. I'm observing. I'm observing. What I'm saying to you, you see, Pavlov, honestly, should I tell you something? I know you are younger than me. I will tell you.
Yes,
I will tell
the
you.
younger car.
No, I will tell. I will
I
tell.
am older than you, and thus I know it better than you.
Pavlov, I'll tell you
Age
something.
doesn't always isn't always equal to actual knowledge.
Well,
wisdom.
actually, people who are older would wait until the other person finished before they interject. Young people do that, and you've just done it. Right. Anyway, I'll just say it anyway. You see, Pavlov, at the end of the day, what we have to try and do, if we want to learn, we must be ready to accept our long-held notions to be demolished. That is how we will learn. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, Pavlov, when you are wanting to have a conversation and you want to arrive at an understanding, then one has to, by default, try and understand the position of the other side that is speaking. What you cannot do is impose a certain way of speaking and expect everybody to fall within that narrow view, which is what I'm not doing with you. And
exactly what you're doing.
Not at all. I'm
by trying to play semantic games with the word justice
Will you allow
and the
me
word
to finish?
judicial system.
Will you allow me to finish? No, I just realized respectfully you didn't know the difference, so I had to make it clear to you.
Of course.
But having said that, you see, what I'm saying to you,
There is
Pavlov,
no difference.
that's entirely your opinion. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, look, for us to learn, Pavlov, we all have to accept what the other person is saying, listen to them, and if we disagree, provide the necessary reasons for why. But do it in the spirit of learning. At this moment in time, Pavlov, you are not doing that. You are just not doing it. How can I tell? I'm older than you.
Oh, so seeing that you're
So
older, you automatically have the knowledge to know everything about me.
No, I just said experience
It's an
teaches.
interesting conclusion, you know. It means the oldest of people should be ruling mankind.
I just said experience.
Why
I didn't
aren't
say
they?
about the brain.
But why
Experience.
aren't they?
It's
Why
amazing.
aren't the
That's
oldest people ruling mankind.
that's something you will learn when you get old. But at this moment in time, you are young, so you have to learn.
Fair enough. I'm sorry, but,
But
these
having-
arguments are very weak.
It isn't an argument.
It's a very weak argument.
This is
Just
the only-
because I'm old, I'm more
Pavlov.
intelligent than you. That's a very weak argument.
Without wanting to sound offensive,
You
I
can
have
sound as offensive.
not at all, Pavlov. I've had
You're
to
being
read.
very condescending already.
I'm
so
not at
this
all.
point- at this
I'm
point, it
only
doesn't matter.
observing what is happening here. You see, I made distinctions, but respectfully, they didn't fit within your purview. So you shut off.
You didn't
Then
make any distinction.
there you are. You see, no, between
You're
the
playing word games between justice and judicial system. Okay,
No.
judicial system
Pavlov.
has a slightly different meaning of justice, but justice
Listen.
dictates the judicial system.
Okay,
If you want to play word games, we can do it all day and night.
I didn't play word
I
games.
didn't come here to play word games. I came here to know your answer. What does God love more, humans or His justice?
Pavlov,
Would you answer?
Pavlov,
simply answer that question?
respectfully, I went
If
through.
you feel the need to keep saying respectfully.
I have to, because
that
you're
you're
already
insisting
thinking
too
I am
much
being
in it.
offensive to you, which I'm not. But what I'm saying to you,
You
Pavlov,
just said you're more intelligent than me.
I
and
didn't
wiser
say
than
that.
me
When did I say
because
that?
you are older.
when did I say I was more
You
intelligent
said
than you?
You know things I don't because you're older.
When did I say I was more intelligent than you?
You said you know things I
Pavlov,
don't.
when did I
Alright,
say I was more
knowing
intelligent than you? Are you going
information,
to
part of
retract that?
intelligence, Part of intelligence.
Pavlov, are you
part
going to
of
retract
no,
that?
I'm not.
You are not.
Part of intelligence
Then you are wrong.
is knowledge. The knowledge of certain things in the world that we observe. You said that you have more knowledge than me automatically simply because you're older than me.
No,
That
you
is
said
a
that.
fallacy.
You
No,
said
you
that.
said that.
I
It's on
said
camera. You
experience.
cannot
Absolutely,
escape
the
from it.
camera is there.
You can't
I
escape
said
from it. I
experience.
asked you, how do you know that?
There you are. You see,
when,
you keep-
when I asked you, how do you know
Pavlov,
what I'm thinking? I asked you, how do you know that? You told me
Pavlov.
because I'm older.
I'm older, and experience tells me why. Now,
that's a weak
now,
argument.
that's fine. We
You
can.
need to give reasons for your arguments. You can't just say, I know it because I know it. I've been in Oxford, I have a degree, that's how I know it. You can't do that. You need to explain
Why not?
step by step.
Why can't you do that?
Because it doesn't make any sense.
Why?
You might have been
If you-
the worst student in Oxford, and I might have been the best student in an unknown school. And I might know more about the subject than you from Oxford.
That may
Do
be.
you realize the slippery slope of your argument?
No. Unfortunately, I've had to follow yours. And if it's slippery, it's yours.
You're not
But
following
having said that,
anything
Pavlov,
that
I
I'm
will say
saying.
something. You see,
You're lost at this
here, I'll tell you what the problem was, and I tried to bring it up for you, but you insisted on a particular way. You see, when you are talking about certain subject matter, the first thing to do is define the terms so that you know where you are going to be going. You automatically assumed certain things about the word justice, about the creator. Automatically you thought that there is a particular way only of looking at it. I didn't look at it that way, hence the problem that we have now. Now, if I can,
let's agree
no,
on the
no, no,
meaning
no,
of
no,
justice.
no, no. Let's
just cut to the
let's
chase.
get. I am
Let's just cut
cutting
to
to
the
the
chase.
chase.
You're
I
not.
am. What I'm going to say,
Be
Pavlov,
more sincere.
God willing,
Be more
because
sincere.
I come from that position, God willing, go and find out
define
about
justice.
justice and come back,
Let's
and we'll have a
define the word
conversation.
justice. Give me your meaning of the word justice.
I have decided to stop the conversation
your-
here. It was a pleasure.
You are free to
a
flee
pleasure,
at any point that you wish.
a pleasure to speak to
pleasure.
you. And once you have learned a bit more, come back to me.
Very good game of tag here. Very interesting.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Goodbye.
This is how much we value our faith. It's priceless. Brothers and sisters, let me introduce you to Norway. This is a European country where the vast majority of people have become irreligious. There are 200,000 Muslims of a population of about 5 million, and most of these 200,000 Muslims have no idea how to explain Islam to their non-Muslim friends and neighbors. But that needs to change. Allah sent His messenger to call people to eternal success. And that is why Muslims in Norway are now establishing a masjid and Dawah center to enhance the Norwegian Dawah. But they cannot do this alone. We need to support them. If you donate to this cause, you will inshallah reap the rewards of thousands of Muslims coming back to Islam, and many of those will become du'at and invite to Islam. You will share in the reward for all those shahadas and good deeds to come, inshallah. So click the link and donate now and share the video for extra reward.
Ah